Yes, it is. Hi.
Morning.
Welcome, family. Sis, you're pretty in pink.
Thank you. Thank
I don't
you.
think you have a bad color. I think you can wear jewel tones and pastels and you got it. You can do it all. It's beautiful. Yeah, you look great.
Thank you. Well, I love you in pink, so I thought, oh, I must
Yeah.
try that.
Yeah.
Never worn this color before,
It
but
works.
thank
All
you.
right. You're going to read today, yeah?
I think so.
Cool.
Yeah. Um, okay. Lesson 308. Hmm. This instant is the only time there is.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What
Well,
about my past?
no,
No?
no
Okay.
past.
Mm.
This instant is the only time there is. I have conceived of time in such a way that I defeat my aim. If I elect to reach past time to timelessness, I must change my perception of what time is for. That's huge.
Yeah.
I must change my perception of what time is for. Time's purpose cannot be to keep the past and the future as one. Sorry, I changed the sentence.
Jesus, you clearly got that wrong and you need our help.
Yeah, sorry about that, Jesus. I'll read it again.
Okay.
Time's purpose cannot be to keep the past and future one. The only interval in which I can be saved from time is now. Wow.
Hmm.
Wow, let that one drop in.
Yeah.
The only interval in which I can be saved from time is now, which means the only interval in which I can be healed is now.
Hmm.
For in this instant has forgiveness come to set me free. For in this instant has forgiveness, which is accepting our sinlessness, come to set me free. The birth of Christ is now, without a past or future. He has come to give his present blessing to the world, restoring it to timelessness and love. And love is ever present here and now. Thanks for this instant, Father. It is now I am redeemed. This instant is the time you have appointed for your Son's release and for salvation of the world in him. Wow. This instant is the only time there is. Well, sis, I've just got a download then in that instant. Can I
Mm.
share it?
Oh, please. That's what we're here for.
This instant is the only time there is. How to explain it? I'm going to try. I'm going to attempt. Please, maybe you can help me.
Well, maybe start with what we're using time for, and then maybe that'll segue into what you saw.
Well, can I just
Yeah. Or not.
yes, we will. But help me with this.
Mhm.
Okay. And that it does tie in with what you've just said. But if this instant is the only time there is, then if I am not accepting and receiving my sinlessness in this instant, then I can't be in the holy instant. Because it's going to be the ego or the ego filter that is trying to be in the now moment while still retaining the judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that, I got it as an experience as I was reading it. So it's very hard to put it into words. So
Well, I think, doesn't that point to that blog that you're going to be mentioning? Isn't it like the ego would try to bring judgment and time into what it wants to be like this holy instant, but which is an impossibility? So as long as we believe that there's a continuum of time, that time is only experienced through the ego's filter, the mythical me and its senses, which is fear, right? So fear is what we're seeing with our physical senses as long as we think that we are this body. And the body has a start date and a stop date, and it would seem like this figure is going along, right, this horizontal timeline. But what this is, he's saying, love is ever present, here and now. So, and it's changeless and it's eternal. So that's the kingdom of heaven, a changeless, eternal love that's here now, but for the timeline and the fear that we overlaid it. And what we're trying to do is to forgive the idea of time. He says, what have we been using it? Time's purpose cannot be to keep the past and future one. So as this figure's moving along the horizontal timeline, while we believe in time, we're going to believe this is me, this is my real past, and this is where I'm going, right? Okay, so the only way to forgive that is when what occurs? We forgive this thought and we ask for the correction. We accept where we're really at, and the Holy Spirit provides us with a holy instant. And the holy instant is where clarity and truth dawns in our mind for a moment, right? And we remember what? Timelessness. We have a felt state of the eternal. And that's where love would seem to come in for a moment and pierce the veil of the belief of space-time. So for a moment, this is the idea of time and space, and for a moment we get a holy instant in our joining, or from the Holy Spirit, and we experience the realm of the real, right, where there is no time. So the ego is continually trying to say, no, you can have that experience here in time. This one is trying to have a holy instant.
Yep. And just to support that too, to take us into more of the felt state. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure, hopefully, all of us have had this experience of the holy instant. Mm-hmm. Because we've, how do I say this? I don't know how to say it. I'm just going to try. Is in that holy instant, it's when we ask Holy Spirit to come in mm-hmm. and heal our perception. So we're virtually accepting the atonement in that instant. And when we accept the atonement, what we're really doing underneath that is we're accepting the shift in our mind mm-hmm. from the ego, the split mind, to the right mind, which is our holy self. Yes. We're actually shifting. We're shifting from here to here, right? Vertical.
That's it.
And in that moment is timelessness. But that doesn't mean anything to me, timelessness. I mean, what comes with the timelessness, the hallmark of timelessness, is the knowing of our changeless innocence, the absolute knowing of that.
Mm-hmm.
And what comes with that is an infinite feeling of safety, of security,
Mm-hmm.
of divine support, and there's a feeling of completion. So there's also a knowing that there's no need of an independent doer in this holy instant, because everything is done already.
So what you just described perfectly was the last few lessons, the state of peace that that he's pointing to in these
Right.
lessons.
Right. That's it, sis. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a mind that's on a timeline is always is the doer. The doer is the timeline. Always seeking, striving, desiring, getting mechanism. And that mind is never at peace. So when we can have a holy instant where our mind is returned to wholeness and action, and we get some distance from the gap or the mythical me that we think we are, that's a mind that can be at peace and can observe the gap, but there's nothing in it that attaches. We're not running in it. We're at rest within it.
We're at rest. That's the key. Resting in God,
Mm-hmm.
resting in our true identity.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. And that's where all the doing gets done.
Yes, effortlessly.
Effortlessly. You said it
Yes.
beautifully. Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
it. And that's where it's all done. And that is where we are open to receive direct guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And we're open to the flow, the
Mm-hmm.
divine flow.
Yes.
So we open ourselves to his will, because we realize, like we've been saying the last couple of lessons, is we're recognizing more and more that we are his will.
Yes. And do you guys remember when I was talking about my trip back to California last year? And when I came, it was been like the whole thing was in the flow. And I was coming back from the airport, still in the flow, and my gas gauge never dipped. Like I drove 2 hours and the gas gauge never left. The lesson in all that he was showing me is that when you are in the flow, you are in the knowledge of your fullness. And from that place, there's no deduction, no subtraction. So nothing can be taken from you. So the gas doesn't dwindle, a bank account doesn't drain, the body doesn't age, right? So that's the effect of being here, but not under the laws of time. You're being under the laws of God. And while you are under the laws of God and you are in the flow, everything is for you. There can't be a subtraction or a sacrifice. That's your invulnerability.
So what would you include here, practically speaking? What are the tripwires that we tend to stumble upon or stumble on to trip us back into the horizontal timeline and believing that we're mythical me? What would be the most popular tripwires?
Well, I think the special relationship.
Right.
I think it's the question really is, where are we still believing that being a body brings us something that we want? Because while we think the body brings us a pleasure or something that we want, value, we're going to want to identify it, and it puts us right smack in the middle of the gap diagram, and we are in time, space, under the laws of, aging, mortality, sickness, lack, conflict, and ultimately death. So we'd have to be radically honest with ourselves. What keeps me bound? Is it my judgments? Is it the body? Is it sickness? What is it that keeps drawing my gaze back into God is true and all this is right and this is what I want, and I also have this real problem or this real thing that I need. Yeah?
Yeah. So, yeah. And I would add to that two things, which I used to fall or trip on all the time. I don't so much anymore.
It's
Isn't
good.
that fantastic?
Yes.
Okay.
Progress.
The first one, thank you. The first one is taking things personally.
Yeah, that makes a person, doesn't it?
Oh my God. And every day,
Yes.
That used to
Yes.
trip me up, and I'd go headlong right down into the rabbit hole, the
Mm-hmm.
ego rabbit hole. And the other one is um, the need to be right.
Mm. The I know mind.
Oh yeah, the need to be right, and the
Yes.
desire to debate with another as
Mm-hmm.
well,
Oh
right?
yeah, I'm really
Which
good
can
at that.
quickly turn into an argument, right? No wonder you became a lawyer, right? One of your dream roles, right?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good, sis. Thank you. Right. Anything that, whatever is in the world,
Mm.
or how, whatever really makes you self-justified.
Oh,
Remember, look at that word, self-justified. I'm justifying the self because I know what this is. I know what it's for. I know what it means. And also to look at those issues in the illusory world that are personal to you. Like, is it, you've heard me talk about love for God and country. That was really big. That made Coreen a real person, you know? And so that had a charge. So every time I would see it, I'd get this flush up, right? Of self justified. That's all got to go. It's all got to go. We had there's a beautiful comment in YouTube with somebody else struggling with that. And I'm like, yeah, America versus other countries. Any other, right? It's exclusion, and reality is inclusiveness. So this sense of a person makes you different than another person, and it's just another line. Whether we're talking about countries or bodies, doesn't matter. God and his creation is one, not two being one. Yes,
it's unified
it's
as one.
one unified whole, right? Yeah. Can I share with the family, because they've been sort of journeying with me on this peeling back to layers, but can I share like this other one that I just saw?
Oh yes, please. Yeah.
So you guys heard me lament the I know mind, and then I saw that there was a doer underneath the I know mind. And then recently, so beautifully on Facebook, I saw this whole post about extreme independence being a trauma response to having broken promises or abandonment, or having, like, you had all these expectations of love. They made a promise and then the last minute they would change it on you. So that would be seem to be the incarnation of Coreen. So at some time early on, it was so painful that the traumatic response was, this will never happen to me again. I will never be vulnerable ever again. So I hadn't even seen that until like recently. It was like, okay, so then that gives rise to the superwoman. That's like, I will never need anybody for anything, because if I do open myself up, somebody is certainly going to fail me like they always do, right? They bail or whatever. So I really got to see that. Now, that's not happening in the absolute. That's not the truth about me, but I found it very helpful because I've been asking Holy Spirit, scour this out. And so beautifully, so gently, here's the piece, here's the next piece, here's the next piece. And I'm leaning in with excitement going, is there anything else? Because I really can feel like that is, if I am saying no to everyone, I will not be vulnerable. I will not be soft. I will not open myself up. I'm doing that to my holy self, and I'm doing that to God. So how can I sit there and trust God to answer me? Or how can I trust to close the gap with God while I have this thing running that says, if I open up to anybody, they will fail me? How do I open up to God? That transfer, all of our beliefs transfer ultimately onto our relationship with our Creator. So here it is, God, answer my prayers. I want to hear your voice. But there's an extreme independence saying, I will never trust you. The only person I can trust is myself. Talk about self-justification. Just, yeah, I'm super excited, and I can feel like there's some others out there that are going to relate to this storyline and see that within themselves. And the world goes, boy, you're so strong and you're so independent and you're so capable. But meanwhile, while we say keep everything out because I'll do it myself, we also keep love out. And we really do. We keep everything out that we so desperately wanted as children and were deprived of. But that was the script. That was perfect. That's what we needed to forget that we are the Christ. We needed some horrific story to happen in the dream of time. Yeah.
So, sis, I think that's an epidemic, really.
Yeah, trauma. I saw that.
Trauma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, each one of us suffered some sort of trauma, and it wasn't like past abuse or my childhood was sad. It was like there was a trauma. Something very traumatic occurred where you left yourself
Mhm.
over it, right? You self-abandoned and you started off on this path to become something for somebody else to make them okay so that you could feel okay. And meanwhile, you left yourself completely. So, Coreen set off to be independent superwoman so that I could get the love and the appreciation externally. And meanwhile, all of those attempts to become something, myself is back here. I'm like leaving myself, trying to be the best lawyer, trying to be the best mom, trying to be the best at whatever. And yet, if I were actually to come back and stay with myself, I would recognize I am the love. And I don't need anything else, right? You can just see the journey away from ourselves.
Oh, sis, so that fierce independence
Yes.
is a curse. Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, and right, that
Yeah.
fierce independence is a curse.
Yes.
And as you're learning to release that, then you're letting God in now, because that fierce independence was a shield that you used
Yes.
against love, against real love and real union with your brothers and sisters, and
Yes.
also with God.
That's
Right?
exactly
Like you
right.
said, it's that relationship. If you're fiercely independent
Hmm.
here in the dream, you're going to shut God out.
You're going to shut out love, but the big kick in the pants is that you're doing it because the ego tells you love is out there. So I'm duped with the ego going, if I'm just good enough, if I'm pretty enough, if I make enough money, if I'm sexy enough, if I fulfill whatever they want me to be, then I'll be loved. And
Mm.
what am I running from? The self that is love. Ha
Mm.
ha ha. There's the big wank, right? It's
All
like you
right.
got to be kidding me.
That's it.
So it's from extreme independence of seek
Yeah.
and don't find to
Yeah.
surrender and come back and drop into the holy self. But I'm realizing, well, that, this I can't trust anybody. I can only trust myself really says no to God. As strong as the desire is for God, if I don't trust God,
Mhm.
it's not going to happen. So that was huge.
Wow. Wow. I'm so glad you saw that and
Yeah.
you're relinquishing that, because that's got to
Completely.
be a core idol for the ego thought system.
I think it is for this incarnation. Like I keep following it back and I go, well, there's nothing underneath this. Like when I saw the I know mind, I thought that was all of it. And it's like, it's part of it,
Not
but
all of it.
yeah, but I've seen the first core trauma now. I saw when I left myself and I think, okay, that was when this began. And I've given that over, just saying, look at this, scour my mind out. If there's anything else, I'm open to it. I'm so grateful to this. And now it's like I want to trust. I will with God. And I just want to trust God completely and not myself. I myself can do nothing. And I can really say that now with full conviction and wanting that. Wanting to be wrong, right?
Beautiful, sis. Thank you.
And finally, to tie into this, I think this is what happened is that notice that timeline. So if that's what occurred back when I was really young, like the promise was made and then it was taken back.
Yeah.
I'm carrying, that's my knapsack, and this is what I'm carrying along as I'm going along the horizontal timeline. And as I seem to get older on the timeline, you simply find replacements for that person that rips the rug out. So every relationship, your special relationships, are going to mirror to you your request for that wound to be played over and over and over and over. Notice as you play it over and over, what's happening? The body's getting older. This is timeline. When you forgive your story, right? This stops. And the time and time and its negative effects of an aging body or running out of time or everything that's associated with time can finally be forgiven, but not while you're using it for the ego. If I want to replay this over and over, I need time in which to replay it over and over. So I'm promoting time and the aging of the body and the death process. Something's got to come in and snip that and say no to this, which you've always done, right? It's the forgiveness of time, it's forgiveness of the mythical me, and it's accepting that this instant is the only time that there is. This holy instant right now, I can accept the correction in my mind. I can't do it from the past. Past is gone. Future hasn't seemed to occur. But right now, take myself out of that timeline and experience a holy instant, which is the taste of eternity, of what's going on behind the timeline, which is love is ever present here and now and is what I am as eternal. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I can really feel that. I'm so grateful, you guys. I'm just, man, when you lean in and you start getting excited because you taste enough of the healing and the blossoming that occurs, and that you realize that you don't do it and that Holy Spirit's doing it, which is your holy self, when you realize that your holy self is holding you, and lovingly saying, I will give you all of this. I just need your invitation. And then you see that it really works. And you just like, yes, take it, take it, take it, take it, take it. And there's such a quickening that happens. And the contrast, and you don't want what you put up with before. I know I'm rambling, but I want you to feel with me what's possible when we stop digging the heels in with the ego and saying yes with our holy self.
And something I've seen with you this last few weeks, which ties in with this particular lesson. Mm-hmm. Okay. This instant is the only time there is that you have spent quite a lot of time being in this instant, this last few weeks.
Yes. Yeah.
And then look at the healing that's come from your devotion.
Yes.
To spending that time alone without distractions.
Yeah, that's really big. Like the special relationships, or thinking that there's something else the ego's going to pull you off into, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Or you notice when you sit down to study the course, you fall asleep or something, right? But when you really want this and you stay present to it and then receive the fruit of being present with your holy self long enough to get the download or, receive the teaching. The blossoming, the fruit of that is so obvious. It's the best gift you can give to yourself, just to say, I'm going to place myself above all else and really be with myself. Yeah. And then you don't want anything else.
So now you're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
How fantastic, sis. Thank you.
I'm still tempted to go walk out in these yellow trees that are blooming around me, but other than that, no. It's lovely here in New Mexico. It's fall, but no. Other than nature, nothing. Nothing really pulls.
Good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
The distractions are falling away.
Distractions are falling away. Who would have thunk?
Yeah. So what's next is the real world.
Yes, it is. And that's happening too. Like when you just go out and the light rests upon everything and you're just in the zone and you're feeling nothing but love and peace, gratitude. The gratitude's the biggest thing. A felt state of gratitude where you're just crying and everything's easy. Yeah. That's what we're getting to, family.
That's the love. That's it right there.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Oh, we've got a couple of blogs to recommend. Yeah?
Yes, we do.
I've forgotten the name of one of them. I've got the name of one and don't know the name of the other one.
Which one do you have? Maybe I have the other one.
Okay. Well, how about you?
Oh, brother.
What's the blog that you're recommending?
I had it. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Our family's so patient. We love you guys.
I'm
Please
telling
forgive
you.
us.
It has the word time in it.
It does?
My blog directory's not, my internet's super slow. Which is the one that you have?
We can't remember the name of the blog. That's so funny. Oh, Lord.
I'll be able to pull it up in a second here.
Yeah. I'm going to try and find the email that I sent to Mwanga and find it here. Oh, here it is.
Oh,
It's
good.
called, and this is a big, I mean, it's not a long blog, but it's very powerful. It's called The Miracle of Healing Takes No Time. The Miracle of Healing Takes No Time. Ties in with today's lesson. And there's a link, and it should be right below the video, today's lesson, right up there at the top. And it's an audio link, but you can scroll up and you can read it as well. All right.
Okay, that's the one that I was going to offer. Yours was another one. It was time and what the difference between time and the holy instant, or the difference.
Yeah, it's called The Distinction Between the Present Moment and the Holy Instant.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. So those are two. The one that's the miracle of time, the miracle of healing takes no time.
Mm-hmm.
That one really highlights how we use time as a defense. I would read that one first. And the second one is really making the distinction between people, the ego would say, I'm trying to have a holy instant, and it's looking for some feeling state within the paradigm of time, something occurring in the gap, which it can't. The holy instant is outside of time.
Yeah.
And that's what that second blog refers to. So I would read that one second.
And it does talk about, the now moment, which is a hip thing, and the holy instant are not the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful.
So that should pique some curiosity.
Yeah, get some spiritual egos going, no, wait a minute, I have to read that. Pretty sure I know what the now moment means.
Of course. I thought I knew.
I did. I for sure knew.
Yeah, right.
Just ask me, I'll tell you. Oh, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. I hope the exuberance wasn't too mishmash and confusing.
Okay, we're going to trust this.
I do
We're going
trust.
to trust our brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Our beloved brothers and sisters.
There's a transmission because it's love that's sending the message, so it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. That was lesson 308. Have fun with time.
Yeah. Have a miraculous.
Yeah.
What would you call it? Eternal day.
Yeah, you and I remember that awakening we had on the way down to the airport, and you're reading me the text on. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
You'll have a mind blowing.
That's a story. We should tell our beautiful family that story one day.
We will.
Yeah.
Okay. But
not
not
now.
now. We're out of time.
We're out of time. How crazy is that?
I know it. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Bye, family.